everyone. I hope you are doing well. It's really good to speak in Devfest. It's really honor for me. So yeah, I'm really excited. I hope you guys also. So as you know, in here I would like to talk about Firebase. Is there any one of you familiar with that? I hope so. So this topic is quite technical, so I hope you guys enjoy it, and I will try to bring this topic with easy to understand, acceptable, and yeah, and fun, of course. And my name is Pradana. So yeah, I'm from Indonesia. I'm also the lead of GDG Jakarta. And yeah, I love to speak in many events and conferences like IO Extended or Devfest. So yeah, in here I would like to talk about test and debug your Firebase extension event with Firebase Emulator Suite. So yeah, let's get started. So the context of this talk will be about the use cases, concept understanding, the business perspective, implementation details, and as well as I will do some live demo. I hope I can do some demo with a really short time. So let's see. So yeah, let's make this more fun. So yeah, I have someone. I would like to introduce you someone. His name is Mr. Fire, and he is a new fresh graduate engineer. This is just a story. And then there's someone also like Mr. Dart. He's a senior software engineer. And actually, they are childhood friends that has the same interest into tech. Oh wow, well, that's really cool. I think that's why right now there is Firebase and Flutter with F also on the initial name. Never mind that. All right. So anyway, someday Mr. Fire has some question and he asked into Mr. Dart. Hey, Mr. Dart, I'm quite new here, but I got a task to build a gallery web page. Can you help me? And then, okay, sure. Okay, so what's on your mind right now? I think the system design will be more or less like this. So this is what Mr. Fire think about right now. Initially, first we can upload the image and then we can set it into the storage. And then we should detect if there's a new uploaded image. And then after that, whenever there's a new image, we can save the uploaded URL of the image's database so that the client can get those URL of images from the database. And then with that being said, with that architecture, we can use Firebase storage for storing the images. And then you can use the Firebase cloud function where actually it's a Firebase feature so that you can run your code on the cloud so that you can detect if there is any uploaded image into the Firebase storage. And if it does, you can save those URL in the Firestore and the web client can access that. All right, that's pretty straightforward. Of course, for the gallery, I think I need to make a thumbnail of those images with the same size for the performance, right? And yes, I think that's correct. And that's where a good start to think about architecture. So yeah, do you know what should I do, Mr. Dart? Mr. Fire said. So Mr. Dart will help Mr. Fire. Basically, you can just add a new function, which is actually to get the image that is being uploaded, resize the image, and then restore it again. So actually, this kind of more workload there on the function. Ah, right. Thanks. It looks more complicated, but I have to think about the resize calculation, algorithm, format, everything, and validation. And that's, I think that's quite really a lot of tasks. Any other idea? So Mr. Dot will be saying, yeah, you can use something called Firebase Extension. So do you guys know Firebase Extension is? Well, in short, Firebase Extension is a feature that can be integrated into your Firebase project in a very simple way. You don't have to build that from scratch. You can just pick and activate those features into your Firebase project. So yeah, I will show you this. In Firebase, there is something called Extension Marketplace. So this is where all those extensions are exist so that you can access that and get into it. So for now, let's see, we try to explore the extensions. As you can see in here, you will see a lot of extensions that can be integrated into your Firebase project. And in this case, about images, I can choose the resize images. All right. So I can choose what Firebase project that I'm using. And then after that, let's see. I think there's something not right. I should just do some install, right? Yeah, it should be in this page. So after we install this extension, actually we are still proceeding into the installation. You can choose the instance name and then review the billing and the usage. Actually, at first you don't have to pay because there is some free tier stuff. Even you surpass the free tier, you only need to pay only $0.01 per month, which is actually really good. And you can review the API that will be used. So you can check what API that will be activated regarding this extension. In this case, it will activate cloud storage, event arc API, and infrared channel. So what are those? I will tell you later. Basically, it's a communication for those extension and your Firebase project, and as well as storage to store your image. As you can see in here, you can have to review about the extension, and this will be using storage admin to do some managing of your storage. And then you can make some configuration for this extension, like the size of the resource image and everything, other properties. You can customize it. And when you're done, you can click this install extension. And then after that, you will see the extension to be exist in here in the extension page. It means your Firebase project now using resize image extensions. That's it. So yeah, I already explained that. So that's cool. I can finish my job faster. Right. So my new system will be like this. We can upload the image and save it into the storage. And then the Firebase extension resize image will take care of the rest. And then what? Okay, it's confusing. So how to know when the extension finishes job? Yeah, of course. We can use something called Firebase Extension Event. So yeah, let me show you more about it. As you know, in this extension, that is in resource image, when you click manage, you will see on the bottom, there is something like this enable events tick. If you would like to enable the events, you can also take these options and then you can choose the channel location for the communication, and then you can choose what kind of events that you would like to activate it. In this case, you can choose on complete, which means whenever this extension finishes his job, complete his job, you can understand it, you can know it, you can trigger some other custom logics. And after that, yeah, that's it. So your extension now has a capability to listen an event. So in this case, after our session take care of the rest, now our new architecture will be like this. So Firebase extension is just image will take care the rest about the resize stuff, and then we have our function to listen for the event when it's completed, and the events will be communicating through something called event arc or channel and API. So in this case, you can add some custom logic based on our business. So yeah, it can be more flexible and easier, simpler, that you can just activate it. And then after that, you can save the resize URL image in the database, and you can get those thumbnails for your gallery web page. All right, that's pretty looks straightforward. Let's try to build that. Okay, it seems like Mr. Dot having some other things to do, so I will take care from this. Okay, never mind about the drama. So yeah, we have made it this far, but of course we can't develop this extension in our real Firebase project, right? Of course, because we will affect millions user maybe if we have, right? So how to develop this extension? Right, I'll show you. So we will use Firebase Emulator Suite. with this emulator, we can basically emulate all the Firebase features for our yeah apps or web that we are developing. So if you are a mobile developer, you can use something emulator for right on your local devices. You can use some mobile emulator or anything. And if you are a web developer, you can just use the browser. But how about the Firebase? So that's why in here you can use some Firebase emulator to emulate and test all the Firebase features that you are developing. And what are those features that we can develop locally in our device? So there are a lot of Firebase features that can be integrated in your emulator. The first one, Firestore emulator, hosting emulator, storage, real-time database, extensions emulator, functions, authentication, and as well as PubSub. So in this scenario, we will only use a storage emulator, extensions emulator, and the functions emulator. So yeah, let's try to understand what this emulator first. So basically, if you run all of those emulator, which is we will not specify anything. Basically, you will not communicating with the Firebase console production, and that's pretty quite safe. And actually, we have another option to only activate which Firebase features that that we would like to develop locally, and then for the rest, we can just refer it into the production, so that yeah, it will make it simple and yeah, you don't have to set up everything. So, for example, in here, I would like to activate emulator only for the storage emulator. So this storage, whenever we upload into the storage, we will not really upload it into that production, but instead for the other features, still connected into the production. So yeah, this kind of good flexibility for us. So it depends on how we develop. That's awesome. I think that's what I really need. Can you show me how to develop locally so that I can do some testing and debug my extension code? All right, so I will show you how right now. So as you know, we have activated our extension and as well as the events in here. So it's already activated. Now let's jump into the code. I've prepared you some Firebase project. So in this project is empty. It's not even a web. It's just empty Firebase project. I initiate the Firebase only with these features, which is the functions, storage, and the emulators. I will try to what is it? This one do some zoom so that it maybe you can see that clearly. I only activate functions, storage, and emulators. I only activate these features because this is what we are talking about right now. So we have this functions folder where our code will be run on the cloud, and right now it's still empty. So yeah, first, we would like to run the extension locally, right? So in that case, we have to get the configuration and the extension from our Firebase console project into our locally. So for now, we can do some Firebase extension and export. So means that we are trying to export the extensions configuration into our local. So in that case, we have fetched it and we got extension folder, and then we got this configuration actually. So this is the configuration that applies on the production, and we can feel free to change this based on our preference. Maybe we can try to test it. Would like to change the image sizes or every other stuff. We can just change there. And once we got this extension, now we can run the Firebase emulator, Firebase emulators, start. And I would like to specify, which is I only run it for the functions, storage, and extensions. But before that, when we run this, of course, it will run the storage emulator extensions and functions. Uh, Maybe we missed something. Have you figured it out? Yes, actually the functions, actually. We didn't do anything but the functions. So in that case, let's jump into functions. It's all empty file. In order for you to understand about how to listen the event for the extension, you can listen for the specific code or even name, which is firebase.extensions.storage resource image. So in that case, I already prepared for you to save the time. Time. Oh, cool. That's how our engineer actually copy and paste. Never mind. This is just for demonstration only. Yeah. So basically, in here, this we are trying to importing a function called custom event publish, which means we can listen for a custom event, and then we can specify what kind of event that you would like to listen. So in this case, extension storage resource image on complete. And once there is some complete in there, we can maybe do anything in here. But for this demonstration, we can just, yeah, test and debug this assessment has been completed. You can just do some log in here that to make sure that, oh, it's really running for our custom event. So now after that, you can run this. So this will initiating the emulator inside our local. Basically, it will, as you know, in here it will run locally the emulator for the functions, storage, and extensions with this port as default. You can actually, what is it, mentioning some other custom port in the configuration file, as well as in here. As you know, there is some emulator, and you can choose your preferred port for this function. I just use the default one when I do some generating there. As you know, this one 5001 9199 and everything. So that's great. And this is the extension that I'm using right now. It's resize image. Now let's see the UI. As you know, I made some UI enable true, which means we can see the UI for our emulator. That's it. Whew, it's really cool. Everything is here. You can do some, you can check whether this is the emulator is on or off. As you know, here functions on, storage on, extension on. It means all these three features run locally, while for the others, it's still connected in the production. That's it. That's okay because I didn't do anything about that. I just focus on these three Firebase features. No, right now let's see our storage. Oh, it's empty locally, all right. And then the extensions. Oh, we got one extension active, which is resource image. That's cool. You can see some documentation here. You can see how to test it in your locally. If you need more some documentation, it's all here. Cool. Now let's see the logs. This is the logs of the function. As you know, everything will be logged in here. Now let's try to upload the image. Basically, I can just upload it directly in here. As you know, this is empty, right? Empty storage. I would like to remind you that in our extension configuration, I specify this. Include path list images. It means this resource image only activate on in this folder images. So if you upload that, if you upload your image outside of this folder name, it will not trigger it will not trigger the extension. So yeah, I think it's a good flexibility so that you can maybe manage some multiple extension, and so you will not basically run automatically for all of the images, which is that might be really troublesome. It might be cost, So for now, let's create the folder images, and we got this folder, and we'll try to upload the image. Maybe I can just use anything, Firebase logo, I think. And yeah, it's uploaded. Now let's see the logs. I wonder if you can see the log anyway. I'll try to zoom. Okay, I hope it's enough. So as you know, in here, it's processing actually. as you know, it's processing the extension, and the extension is started. And as you know in here, beginning execution of on image resize, which is the function name that we just made in here, export on image resize. And then inside that, you will see some logger, and you'll see some message in here says test and debug resize image has been completed. So basically, yeah, you are testing your extension on your local, not on your Firebase project. So yeah, on image resize, if you like to change the name, it's also okay. You can just choose whatever name that you prefer here. Maybe you are wondering why the image is like the. I mean, no. I mean, why you are wondering why the name is like, kind of like this. Like, it's not even camel case or capital case. Yes, that's a rule for the version 2 functions. For the other function, maybe you are trying to make some API, maybe a REST API, your own API on this function. You can still choose any other name, but for the version 2 functions, this rule is applied actually. So yeah, that's it. I think that's about the extension emulator. So that's awesome. Mr. Fire learned a lot in here. Thank you so much. Okay, you're welcome, Mr. Fire. So yeah, I think that's all about my talk. Yeah, feel free to connect. You like maybe if you have to some discussion with Firebase. Feel free to text me and I will help you out. And I think that's all from me. And thank you.